Hello, my friend. This is the 16th of April. So we are on challenge number 16 from my April activities, April quilt activities. I'm Pat Sloan, and I'm just like enjoying just sitting here chatting with you, getting ready to chat with you. It's yesterday was a super busy day for me. You would think like I'm here at home working, but we had like all this stuff that had to kind of get finished and sent off, and yeah, so I'm like taking it like just to now relax and do the challenge for today. So on our calendar every day we have something I put on the calendar to be our challenge, and I have the Book Nook today. I thought that would be like a feature to have every so often because we all have books, and I love books. I'm an author. I'm working on book, I think it's 37 quilt book, my 37th quilt book. So for those of you asking, a few of you asked, what's the status of your book? It's very, very close to being totally delivered. I delivered a good portion of it. I would say about 80% of the writing is done. So I'm doing the last part, and then eventually I can send them the quilts. Right now they are in Washington State, and Martingale offices are not allowed to be open because they're a non-essential business. We don't think they're non-essential, but right now they can't go into the warehouse or they go into the offices. So once that frees up, or maybe sooner, they might end up shipping my quilts directly to the photographer. I don't know. We have to talk about that. Because they have a big photo studio there in their offices. So for the Book Nook, Martingale is my publisher, and I've had a wonderful chance to go out and visit their offices a couple years ago now. When we were doing the Splendid Sampler, and I was doing my machine quilting book, I went out and I was there to see what their facility was like. Plus, I got to work with the photographer and see what the process was that he does. And then we did some little videos for my Teach Me to Machine Quilt book. There are some links to videos I did specifically for the book. So those were all taped when I was out there for about 5 days. I got there Monday, left on Friday. Also had a chance to have, I had breakfast with one of my buddies who's out there. He came over to the facility, and we were able to meet up. We were trying to go to dinner, but it didn't work out with his schedule and our schedule, so it was nice to be able to see him. So that's with the status of my book. But for the Book Nook, I wanted to share a couple things. I always have books coming in, and I think down the road here I'm going to do a lot more on the videos showing you books, because I just think they're the lifeline of a quilter. They have so much value, and they're just gorgeous to look at. We can dream about so many fun projects. So what I'm doing for the Book Nook, when I'll show you two things, and then a third book just came in. I am doing the label for my Bloomtopia, the charity quilt. It's called Bloomtopia. So the label on the back has a great big, they have a great big label on the back. It says 2020. And if you remember, it's like a hole across the whole middle of the back. Well, I decided to do it a little differently because I can. So I'm going to do just a big regular label, not like a whole banner. I mean, their words are like 12 inches tall and across the back. And I decided I'm instead going to do 2020 in smaller letters. So I have all 4 of them made already in my Bonnie Lane. And I want them very soft. The backing for my Bloomtopia, the one that'll be auctioned for charity, is being assembled, and then will be going to be quilted by Cindy and Dennis Dickinson for charity for Make-A-Wish. So it'll be auctioned for Make-A-Wish, and it's all made with my Bonnie Lane. And so I have all these done, and I'll be making the label. So there's 2 ways you can find some lettering, and that's the Book Nook part. Yes, I finally got to it. So the Book Nook part is I used the spelling bee book, which is an absolutely fabulous book. It has a ton of different images. Like you can see this, the quilt on the front has all these different cute little images, but also has all the books in, all the letters in two sizes, like a 12-inch and a 6-inch. So these are the 6-inch size. And it has other quilts in it. Like here's something where they did a bunch of letters. You know, like they could be fun little mini quilts if you had a grandchild or your own child that you want to make them for. There's also different alphabet quilt layouts in here. There's just lots of fun stuff. It's full. Here's some other cute images. It's almost like you can make I Spies with spelling. So this is a absolutely fabulous book. I'll link everything below in the video here so you can just get it. But I thought, you know, if you're not interested in having that much, there is this little booklet called Spell It With Fabric. And it has, does it have one size? No, I think it's just one size. Yeah, so all the alphabet is in one size. And I think they're all they're all uppercase. So they're all the uppercase letters. Whereas the other book, the big book, it has two sizes, upper and lower case of each. So there's a massive amount of information. But this is a nice little booklet. It's perfect if you just want to add some letters here and there, some wording. So that is something, I'll put the links down there, something you could pick up easily. Another book that just came in for the Book Nook is, got like a glare today here, is the Quilter's Cottage. And this is like a pattern booklet. So it's for one pattern. And then, so then they took it and took some of the shapes and made like pillows and table runners, you know, things like that with the same, from the same quilt. So there was actually a cross stitch with this as well that came out a while ago. But it's got this great big house. The house is gigantic. It's a bed-sized quilt. So it's a pretty big quilt. But this book is super cute if you love house quilts, and it's got quilts on the line underneath it, a little picket fence. I'm looking for the whole picture in here. Sorry, it's not popping up. You can see it online. The link I'll send you to. Oh, there it is. There it is. That is the whole quilt. So it has the clothesline and everything. So darling, so what I want you to do for your challenge today is take a look at your books. If you've not gone to your quilt bookshelf for a while, or your quilt book piles, you got a pile over here, got a pile over there, got a pile over there. Just to do this video, I had to go find one of the spelling books, and I couldn't find it. And I looked and I'm like thinking, it has to be here. I just looked at it the other day to make these. Where did I put it? And I had actually looked at the shelf and it was staring right at me, but I didn't recognize the spine because it's on the bookshelf. And I thought it was something else, so I wasn't stopping and reading it. So once I made myself stop and go back and look where I was sure it was, there it was. So, that's what happens sometimes. So look at your books. Take a little inventory of what you have. If you've got them scattered all over the place, maybe today is the day to bring them all together, or try to find as many as you can to get them in one place so you know what's going on with them and you can see what you actually have. Because, you know, we only have so much space. And sometimes you find, like I collected books for a long time, and eventually I had to, you know, I gave a bunch to the Virginia Quilt Museum so that they could resell them to make funds for the museum, to fund the museum. And so I did that, and it felt really good because I had not, you know, I can't look at all the books all the time, but there are some, like a whole collection of self-published books from folk art quilters from, you know, 25 years ago. Those people aren't even in business anymore. And right now, I'm not ready to give up the collection. They're not too big, you know, they take up a pretty good sized shelf, but they're, you know, that's it. And I have a lot of history books, but there were some history books that I had not looked at in years. And so I gave those to the museum to resell. So, you know, it's good to look through your books occasionally, because you might find that there's one that's a treasure that you've forgotten about, and one that you're like, I really have outgrown that. I don't really see going back to it. So you gift it to somebody, put it up for sale, just make space so that you can have newer things that you're interested in, because you're always going to have something new you're interested in. Yes, that is where we are. So one of the things, yesterday was like crazy day. I have to shuffle some stuff around for next month, because I can't have 3 things coming out at once. Next month, Wednesday is not the 15th or the 1st. When it is, that's when it's crazy, because stuff comes out on the 1st and the 15th, new blocks and things that you're supposed to do. So yesterday I also released, I have Aurifil down as today, so I could talk about it today. But I actually put the post out yesterday. Next month I might put it out on the 16th. So the block is from the Verona collection, thread collection, and I want to show you Carolina Asmussen's block. So this is her block. It is so gorgeous. And I did an interview with Carolina that's at Aurifil, and I'll link you up to that. And it was fun, because I did this technique here where she has very good instructions. Her pattern is really detailed. But this is free motion quilting the, I don't know what you would call it, whether you could interpret that as the sun, like this is the sunset and there would be the sun, but she put a piece of batting behind it. So I did the same thing, because I'd never tried that. So I did my Verona. Here is mine, and I did the same thing. So you can see the back. But I also did 2 things. I cut away, so I didn't have any shadowing. I cut away my applique from behind, and then I also put the batting behind the Verona, so that I could stitch the letters free motion, which is very fun, very freeing. Okay, so we'll wrap up this Book Nook challenge today with my stay-at-home block. I decided, yes, today was the day to do the camera. The camera fabric I found the other day when we were going through the bins. So here it is. That's going to go into my row, the next row. So here is row 3. Let me get it. Yeah. Oops. Here it goes. Here's row 3. I've got it set. So I have to put it in below the other 2. And then this is starting our 4th row for the 16th. I'm so excited. Yeah, so excited. I actually went looking around for border fabric and what I own. And then I actually did look on this online too, looking around going, oh, what can I find to make a cute border? So thank you, friends. If you have not subscribed, do that very quickly before the video ends here and before you go on to the rest of your day. Click the subscribe and click the bell, because then you'll know when I have new things. So I love you. Have an amazing day, and I will see you online. Mwah.